Did you know that how many carbs you can eat and still burn fat varies significantly from person to person? Understanding your individual carbohydrate tolerance level could be the secret to unlocking faster fat loss. In this video, I'll explain what carb tolerance is, why it matters for your body's fat-burning potential, and how you can find your personal sweet spot for weight loss success. Stick around because knowing this could completely change the way you approach your diet. If this is the first time you've seen me or clicked on one of my videos, I'm Dr. Ashley. I'm a PhD nutritionist, registered dietitian, weight loss expert, and the founder of PhD Weight Loss, where we've helped thousands of people, over 10,000 people, drop over 366,000 pounds across the US. And my goal is to help you get the science-backed information you need to actually drop the weight, keep it off, and live the best life possible. Remember to subscribe to this channel. It helps us impact more people in a positive way. Give it a thumbs up and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. Let's start by me explaining what carb tolerance really means. At its core, carb tolerance refers to your body's capacity to handle carbohydrates without triggering excessive insulin spikes. This can lead to fat storage, all things we don't want to have. So I want you to think of it like this. If you exceed your daily carb threshold consistently, your body stops burning fat efficiently and starts storing it instead. But if you stay within your unique carb tolerance level, your body can effectively burn fat for fuel. So then how do carbs actually affect fat burning? Well, when you eat carbs, your body breaks them down into glucose. This is normal. It breaks it down into glucose because this is the simplest form of sugar that your body can utilize. This glucose enters into your bloodstream where insulin is released from your pancreas to help move it into your cells for energy. However, if you eat more carbs than your body needs consistently, like chronically overeating your unique carb tolerance level, then that excess glucose gets stored as glycogen in your muscles and liver. Once your glycogen stores are full, any remaining glucose gets converted into fat and stored in adipose tissue, which is like the fat around your belly or that hangs over our pants that we don't like. Carb tolerance is not a fixed number for everyone. It's highly individualized. There are several factors that affect how many carbs you can eat and still burn fat, not have that overflow, that overload. Number one is genetics. Your genetic makeup can influence how well you metabolize carbs. Some people are naturally more efficient at using glucose for energy, while others are more prone to fat storage. I can see the difference in me versus my husband. My husband can't tolerate very many at all. I don't tolerate a ton, but much more than he does and still maintain a healthy weight. Number two is metabolic health. If you have metabolic issues like insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes, even type 1 diabetes, really high blood pressure, like you get the gist, your body won't process carbs as efficiently, meaning you're likely going to need to reduce your carb intake to promote fat loss. Number three is physical activity. The more active you are, especially with activities like lifting weights or high intensity interval training, the more carbs your muscles can use for fuel. Active individuals, young individuals especially who are active, can typically eat more carbs without storing fat. Number four is body composition. People with more muscle mass tend to have higher carb tolerance because muscle tissues help store and use glucose more efficiently. In contrast, those with a higher percentage of body fat, specifically around the belly and the chest, the throat, the head, may have a lower carb tolerance. If you've got belly fat, you're likely eating above your carb tolerance level. Number five is age. As we age, our insulin sensitivity can decrease, meaning we may have to adjust our carb intake downward to maintain fat loss. Understanding where you fall in these categories is key to finding your carb tolerance and unlocking your fat burning potential. Now, let's get into why carb tolerance is such a critical factor in your fat burning journey. The relationship between carbs and fat burning revolves around that one key player we've talked a lot about, which is insulin. Insulin is often called the fat storage hormone because its primary role is to regulate blood sugar by moving glucose into your cells, into your muscle cells, for example, for energy and for storage. When you eat carbs, specifically refined carbs like white bread, sugary snacks, sugary sugary drinks, pasta, crackers, your blood sugar rises, it spikes, and it causes your pancreas to release insulin. Like I said, insulin helps your cells absorb the glucose, but here's the thing. If you're eating more carbs than your body needs for energy, that insulin takes the excess glucose and stores it as fat. This is where carb tolerance comes in. If you stay within your body's carb tolerance range, you can keep insulin levels in check, allowing your body to continue to burn fat for fuel. But if you constantly exceed that range, insulin spikes will not only stop fat burning, but also promote fat storage. And people vary greatly in how sensitive they are to insulin. Insulin-sensitive individuals, these are the people who are usually lean, naturally lean, they're active, they have healthy metabolic function. Their cells respond efficiently to insulin, meaning that they can eat a moderate or even high amount of carbs without storing a lot of excess fat. Insulin-resistant individuals, on the other hand, are people who often are overweight or more sedentary. They're dealing with metabolic conditions like those I mentioned earlier, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high belly fat. They're going to have a harder time processing carbs. Even moderate carb intake could lead to fat storage in these individuals because their cells are less responsive to insulin. Understanding where you are on the spectrum is going to be really important to unlocking your fat burning potential. Now for the million-dollar question, how do you figure out your carb tolerance? Luckily, you don't need a bunch of expensive blood tests to figure it out. You just need a little observation, a little experimentation, and you can find the right carb intake that works for you. Now, sometimes this is really difficult to find on your own. If you try these things that I'm going to point out below and you don't feel good, you don't drop consistent weight, then something is off and you need to reach out. You could reach out to us at PhD Weight Loss so that we can help you. The link is in the description, but I'm going to guide you through trying this on your own first. Step 1 is to track your carb intake. First things first, track what you're eating, at least for 1 week, preferably 2. Start writing down everything you eat and drink, especially the carb content of it. You can use an app like Chronometer or MyFitnessPal, or just simply jot it down on a piece of paper. Be specific. Note not only the number of grams of carbs, but also what kind of carbs you're eating. Are they coming from whole food sources like veggies or fruit, or are they coming from processed foods like bread and pasta and grains and junk foods and treats? This is going to help you identify patterns in how your body responds to the different types of carbs as well. Step number 2 is to observe your body's response. As you track your intake, you want to monitor what your body does. So here's what to look for. Energy levels. Do you feel energized or sluggish after meals? If your energy drops soon after eating, you might be exceeding your carb tolerance level. Hunger and cravings. Are you constantly hungry even after eating, or do you get intense carb cravings? This could be a sign that you're not handling carbs well. Weight trends. Pay attention to any changes in your weight. If you're eating within your carb tolerance, you should maintain or lose weight. If you're eating too many carbs, you might notice weight gain or a plateau. And step 3, gradually reduce your carbs. Once you've identified your starting point, it's time to experiment. Start by reducing your carb intake just by 10-20 grams a day. So for example, if you're currently consuming 150 grams of carbs per day, try dropping it down to a 130, 140 and observe how you feel. Focus on cutting out the refined carbs first, like white bread, sugary snacks, sodas, then replace them with nutrient-dense, protein-forward animal protein, healthy fats, maybe some veggies, maybe some berries because they're lower sugar, higher fiber. After a week or 2 at a lower carb intake, reevaluate. Do you have more energy? Are you feeling less bloated? Are you dropping weight? If so, you might be closer to that sweet spot to your carb tolerance level. All right, that's it for today. I know this was a lot. If you need help, if you don't feel good after making these changes, if it feels a little bit complicated, it does not mean that this process does not work for you. It just means that you need support and a customized approach to find your unique sweet spot. To learn more or to get that type of help, reach out to us at PhD Weight Loss. The link is in the description. Let me know in the comments what's been your experience with carbs and fat loss. I'd love to hear your thoughts and answer any questions. See you next time.